Nice to see everyone. So, good yontif, everyone. One of the most well-known stories in the Torah is the one of the Jews leaving Egypt, traveling through the desert to ultimately arrive at the Promised Land. Now, at its simplest level, it may be read as a physical adventure with a known destination. We know it's a journey about so much more, including one of freedom, overcoming adversity, perhaps most importantly, the Jewish people's relationship with God. And while in most cases not a physical journey or with a defined destination, we are each on our own journey, one of learning, personal growth, self-discovery, relationships, spiritual beliefs, just to name a few. Park Avenue Synagogue is also on a journey, but the primary purpose of our journey is supporting you, our members and extended community, in your Jewish journeys. The Park Avenue Synagogue journey, which began over 141 years ago, has at times been fraught with challenges, such as waning membership, mergers, mortgage debt, and surviving the Depression. And yet, through it all, Park Avenue Synagogue reacted to the times, addressed the needs and desires of our members, and set goals to make us all better. We've achieved thought, spiritual, and musical leadership from our world-class rabbinic and cantorial clergies over the years and today, as well as guidance from our committed lay leaders. We are grateful to these leaders, some of whom are here tonight, and others that are not. This was a somewhat sad year, a very sad year for Park Avenue, as we lost 3 of those leaders, each of whom had a transformative impact on our institution. Joel Cohen was chairman from 1981 to 1984. He guided us through the times following the initial expansion and renovation of our 87th Street campus. Paul Corwin, president from 2013 to 2018, brought new life to our educational initiatives, including the start of our travel programs. And most recently, Mark Becker, recent past chairman, who led us through the building renovation, the pandemic, and through the acceleration of our online community. A warrior mensch, as described by his friends and family, a colleague and a friend to so many, and the reason I am standing here today. Mark, you inspired us, and we will do everything we can to build upon your legacy and to make you proud. I would like to thank the current leadership of the synagogue, our Board of Trustees, Advisory Council, Committee and Arms Chairs, and my officer partners, Erica Friedman, Paula Gindel, Lauren Klein, Melissa Raskin, Stephanie Katz-Rothman, Andrew Siegel, and our president, Lizzie Marcus. We will be successful if we can do just a fraction of what those who have come before us have done. So last year at this time, I challenged you all to do 3 things: engage, connect, and support. And I am happy to say you didn't just do it, you crushed it. Although the pandemic was ending, most people were still choosing to engage online rather than in person. That's no longer the case. Our in-person worship, services, concerts, and educational programs were all very well attended. Our communal Shabbat dinner, Passover Seder, and Spring Gala honoring Mark Becker all sold out. And attendance at our 20s and 30s events, as well as at our newly formed 70+ initiatives, also reached record attendance. And we restarted our travel program with successful trips to Israel, Portugal, and the South. We are a community, but we are also a community of communities, and people are choosing to engage and connect in the many different ways offered. You also showed up through your generosity towards our Kol Nidrei Appeal. We cannot do all that we do without your support, as membership dues and tuition are not sufficient to cover the expenses, especially true in an era of rising costs. I hear people say that we're a rich congregation, but that does not mean we can do it all, as the aspirations of our clergy and the demands, needs, and wants of our members keep the bar high and rising. Thank you again for supporting us. This past year, we also made good progress in enhancing our operational capabilities, the foundation of which is our administrative team led by Executive Director Valerie Russo. Thank you, Valerie, for the team that you are building and the systems you are implementing. And we also formed a series of task forces to evaluate how and what we're doing in certain key areas. This includes our congregational school and youth education, our inclusion efforts, our interfaith programs, and lots of others. These efforts are not broken, but rather we are assessing how we can do better and how we can continue reaching upwards, a core tenet of Park Avenue Synagogue for many generations. So what about this coming year? Well, we'll do more of the same since it's working, but we're hoping to move forward in our journey. And I believe that begins with how we define what a synagogue is. Traditional model of a synagogue is described as a Beit Tefillah, a Beit Midrash, and a Beit Knesset, or houses of prayer, study, and community. And tonight I would challenge us all to consider a modified and expanded definition, one where we strive to be a home for inspiration, education, relationships, and caring. So why a home versus a house? Well, a house often connotes a physical structure, and many of our members engage online to learn and pray. And we have an extended community who connect with us from afar. A home extends beyond the physical to encompass the emotional, the psychological, and the personal aspects as well, a place where memories are created and relationships nurtured. So a home for four things. First, inspiration, the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something. We may be inspired by prayer, music, or the words and challenges of our clergy, all to help us along our journey. Our rabbinic team led by Rabbi Cosgrove and with Rabbis Zuckerman and Zosmer, and our cantorial team led by Cantor Schwartz and with Cantor Davis are critical not just to inspiration, but central to who and what Park Avenue Synagogue is. We consider ourselves blessed to have you as our clergy. Thank you. Second, education. The process of acquiring knowledge, skills, values, and understanding. Our educational programs from our youngest through our ECC and congregational schools through to our adult engagement initiatives are all doing well under the leadership of Rabbi Kaufman, Rabbi Sampson, Cantor Reisner, and their teams of educators. And the thought leadership of our clergy is impacting not just Park Avenue Synagogue, but also the broader Jewish community. Third, relationships. As I said last year, people often join Park Avenue because of the clergy, the educators, and programs, but they stay because of their fellow congregants. Lifelong friendships, intergenerational relationships, people with shared experiences, there for each other in times of celebration as well as in times of need. It is what makes the magic of Park Avenue Synagogue work. And last, and with added focus in this definition, caring. The act of showing concern, kindness, compassion, and empathy towards others. Providing support and guidance where it may be needed. Of course, caring has always been central to our life cycle events and at times of illness, and that, of course, will never change. And caring is and has been part of our broader commitment to being a welcoming and inclusive community. But what became clear was that many of our members needed support and guidance in addressing a broad range of life events, including mental health challenges, aging, and other of life's happenings. And to that end, we've added a social worker to the PAS team to support the clergy, to instill a caring perspective into our programs, and to serve as a resource for our congregants. To be clear, we are not trying to become or replicate the many successful social services organizations that already exist, but rather to help our members identify the right places where they can find the help and support. So a home for inspiration, education, relationships, and caring. What we are today, but what we hope to achieve. We are working hard to do amazing things. Which reminds me of a story of an amazing parrot and his owner, a guy named Goldberg. The parrot heard Goldberg pray so often that it learned to say the prayers. Goldberg was so excited he brought the parrot to synagogue on Rosh Hashanah. The rabbi, who disliked birds more than dogs, only agreed to let the parrot in when told it could daven. People started betting on whether the parrot would pray, and so Goldberg took wagers, which, of course, he said he would donate to the annual Kol Nidrei Appeal. Wagers that eventually added up to $100,000. Service started, parrot was silent. As the prayers continued, there was not a word from the bird. And when the prayers ended, Goldberg was not only devastated, but $100,000 in debt. On the way home, Goldberg yelled at his parrot, "Why did you do this to me? I know you can pray, and you know you can pray. Do you know how much money I owe people now?" Parrot looked at Goldberg and finally said, "Do you have no imagination? Just think ahead. Can you imagine what the stakes will be like on Yom Kippur?" Well, it is Yom Kippur, and while we do not have any davening parrots, we're doing some great things at Park Avenue Synagogue. We're using our imaginations, we're thinking ahead, and again, we need your support. If you're here in person, engaging online, either way, whether you're a new member or part of a third-generation family, whether you engage in one class, one trip, or one holiday service a year, or you're with us 52 weeks a year. And to our online community, thank you for allowing us to accompany you on your journey. Through you, our extended PAS family, we have created shared Jewish experiences and meaningful connections around the world. Thank you again for supporting us. And if you haven't done so before, please do so for the first time. So as I begin my second year as chairman of this beloved institution, I feel confident in pushing forward in areas of thought leadership, musical leadership, relationships, and caring. This is where our clergy and staff strive every day to deliver with excellence, all in support of your Jewish journey. And we'll continue to reach out, be here for you, also reach within. And I'd ask you all to do the same. Reach out to us, reach out to each other, and reach within, all as we continue to build a home for inspiration, education, relationships, and caring. On behalf of the officers and board of trustees of our synagogue, I wish everyone a Shana Tova U'Mitucha, a good and sweet year. Gamar Chatima Tova. I pray that all of you and your families are written and sealed in the book of life for a year of health, happiness, peace, and prosperity.